So this video is starting in front of my art desk, and this is my ribbon collection. So I have a story to tell you. My beginnings of organizing my life started with collecting ribbons. Now, they've gone through different storage boxes, but this is my current box. And I realized I love ribbons, and every once in a while I want a specific ribbon for a project. So I should just keep all my ribbons together so that I can find them. So, and some of them have sentimental reasons, and some of them you might even recognize from Bed Bath & Beyond, back when they carried ribbon. This is also the ribbon that I used when I did the video on New Jersey Preacher Girl about modesty. That was hilarious. I will actually link that. So, yeah. Oh, some of them have like wire in them, so then you can like bend them and they will stay. Really good for like bows and that sort of thing. Anyways, so it all started with realizing I need to put my ribbons in one place. And then I realized if I pick boxes that look good, then I can store my stuff in plain sight and it looks good. And this is how my obsession with decorative storage began. When I walk past decorative storage in any store, my brain starts salivating. It's like, because the dopamine hit of seeing this look good on a shelf, it's been literally life-changing. And when I officially do a proper apartment tour, you will see. Like, this ribbon, it's looking kind of pink when it's in the light, but then but mostly it's burgundy. There, you can see it better. That was in my wedding. I had ribbon sticks for the send-off with little bells. And, oh, actually, I should use this for my kite repair project. I love kites. Love them. I kind of love it so much. This is just a Bed Bath & Beyond special, but also, as you can see here, so this is the little pouch where the stick goes to hold it, and there's a hole at the end, which is not good. And today, there's a hole in the top. So if I get thicker cloth and sew it on there, it should work beautifully. So I'm just gonna pull my very beautiful ribbons off because this thing needs massive repairs and sewing, and this is exactly the piece that I need. And because I just had it sitting there in my ribbon box, it's good to go. Yeah, but I was thinking today when I finally flew my kite for the first time in ages, because we don't get a lot of wind here in Alabama. We're not near the coast at all. I mean, I used to fly my kite at the beach in South Florida all the time. Like, this kite lives in my car because I never know when I will want to fly my kite. I always be prepared to fly a kite. Oh man, I think I might put that on the card somewhere. Yeah. Because when I was flying my kite, oh, and this is the dowel that I used to replace the original middle dowel. It broke. It's been through many iterations already. As I was flying my kite today, I realized flying a kite it's kind of an athletic sport, but the sole purpose is to bring beauty to the world. And the exhilaration of adding color to the sky because you can, like planting tulips. There's a Calvin and Hobbes comic strip that I love, and it says, "Wow, it is such a beautiful day today. You know what? I feel like the sky is missing something." And Calvin runs and he gets his kite, and he's like, "I feel like it needs a little spot of red right there," and he flies his kite. I think I'm gonna paint that in my own style. Hold me to that, will you? I need to paint that in my own style and put it up on my Instagram, because it just makes me so happy. And so my little Grace girl in Psalm 23, she has the balloons. That's her accessory. And there's not much skill to holding a balloon. Like, you just hold it, so it's really great for young people, except like don't let go. And then the beauty of like the goodness and mercy of God being represented by the balloons is that you literally can't lose them. And in the story of Psalm 23, she doesn't lose the balloons, even though she should. So great. Defies physics. God's grace is physics defying. God's grace definitely defies physics, defies logic. I'm in teacher mode here. Oh my gosh, reminds me of my friend Kelsey. She had such a gift for teaching. Where was I? My little Grace girl, she holds the balloons. And then the girl in the Lord's Prayer, she's my little truth girl. And she doesn't have an accessory. And I was thinking about a slingshot for a while, but that doesn't really, that's a very aggressive kind of thing. And I realized that little truth girl needs a kite. So I will recreate that Calvin and Hobbes strip with my little Grace girl and my little truth girl and the little truth girl flying a kite. I'm so excited. So yes, exciting things coming to all of the art world back here. And none of it would be possible without this organization. You know what, let me just fix up the ribbons because we're gonna be here for a while. I have so much to say in this vlog, you guys, but it's good, it's really good. I mean, I've been mad this week, but it's good. Oh, I need this. Yes, this is the middle connector thing, so that the thingy bends, and it's important for the physics of it. And I know what I need to do for this. I need to save this. Yes, okay. So that will go there. Actually, I will put this in a little Ziploc and I will label it. That way I don't lose it. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, that was so long. Kite accessories. Always be prepared to fly a kite. So this is for the centerpiece. I'm thinking about actually getting like, so this is a wooden dowel I used to replace the plastic dowel, but as you can see, this tube broke. So I'm thinking about getting a metal dowel and putting it in here, and then putting it in here. It will make my kite more heavy, and so I might need even more ribbon to offset the weight, but given the strength of a good wind, I think it'll just make the kite more stable than not in the long term. Can you tell I care about this? None of the art painting that I do would be really possible without all this organization. So in tangent that comes back to what I'm saying, November of 2018, we sold my car. I had bought it for like $5,000. There's a vlog about that. And I sold it for about $2,000, which was good market value because I'd gotten 2012 to 2018, 6 years out of it. And I remember watching the car drive away, and it was really rewarding, but also emotional. And we'd thought about selling my car for a while, and it kind of snuck up on us. Like, I told my friend, we're thinking about selling my car, and then they messaged me like months later, like, hey, are you still interested in selling your car? Yes, actually we are. We literally just like talked about like doing it like the day before. So it worked out really well, all that good stuff. I remember watching the car drive away, and I remember this is one of like me having a car was one of the security things. It was one of the defining things about me being single. My car to human ratio was 1 to 1. I remember watching it drive away, and I remember thinking, wow, this is such a huge change. And it was. Then I remember the Holy Spirit telling me, like, this is gonna be so fruitful in your life. It's like, okay. It was very fruitful. Like, because I now didn't have a reason or an excuse to go out and drive around. Yes, this is much better. Because I didn't have the ability to go out and drive around, suddenly it gave me so much more focus in the home. I got much more serious about my art, and I painted a few things. And it was really, really good. But then, hey Ben, I'm vlogging. I flew a kite.
You did?
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's why we cooperated.
It was so nice. And I also busted the top of it, so there's a hole in it now. So I'm gonna repair it again for like the 4th time or something. Yeah. Actually, the 4th time. So this is like George Washington's axe. The handle and the...
Oh yeah, I replaced the handle 2 times and the blade 3 times.
Yeah.
Is it still his axe? It's still the same axe?
Exactly, so.
I'm not sure. Let me call up my man Theseus.
Who's Theseus?
Have you ever heard of Theseus's ship? It's like the Greek paradox of if I have a ship and I replace it 1 plank at a time, at what point is it no longer the same ship? Anyway.
We replace the cells in our body every 7 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make myself a sandwich.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to vlogging.
Okay, I need to go back to the podcast.
Okay, good deal. So I remember thinking, wow, I feel such a sense of loss, of independence losing my car, but then it resulted in such fruitfulness. It was just mind-boggling. Fast forward to moving into this apartment. I don't have any vlogs in the other apartment, except for my mental health video, which is against a white wall, so that doesn't really count. But the point is, like, I don't know if I told you the story of how we moved into this apartment. I went to go hang up a hand towel hook one day. Actually, it's like a hand towel circle where the goes to the wall like this, and you got the circle here, and then you put your hand towel in like this. Because our apartment doesn't come with anything like that. We have like a towel rod to put a bath towel, but not like a hook to put a hand towel, and that just doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, I went to install it one day and figure out logistics, and then I felt like I heard the Holy Spirit say, don't worry about installing that. You're not going to be here that long anyways. I remember thinking, God, we moved into this apartment 8 months ago. What are you talking about? We're not going to be here that long. Because we'd been in an older apartment up the hill from, let's see, Ben moved in July, we got married in August. I moved in August, obviously. And then it was June. So we'd only been in our other apartment for like 11 months. And then we made the change to move into a newer apartment that were nicer, that had ceiling fans. Ceiling fans was the straw that broke the camel's back. We like our 21st century amenities and doors that shut without squeaking, that sort of thing. Doors that shut without rubbing, because you can fix squeaking, but rubbing is more complicated. And we'd been in our new apartment, which was 2 bedrooms, for, let's see, June to, it was January at this point. And I kind of looked up at God and was like, God, what do you mean? What are you talking about? We've only been here a few months. Ben has no idea how loud he is. Just remember thinking, God, what are you talking about? We've only been here a few months. So either that night or the next day, Ben and I were talking, and he said, you know, I'm really not sure about staying in this apartment long term because, you know, we're paying, like, it's a nice apartment, yeah, but we're paying a lot per month, and we really could save more if we didn't have so much rent. And something clicked in my brain. I said, that's what God was talking about. We need to move again. So I went in apartment hunting mode, and I thought, well, we don't really want to move back into the old apartments. We like our current complex. We like our current people. You know, where could we go? Oh, you know, this building has 1-bedroom apartments. So then I look at the apartment numbers that are available, and I realize that this apartment is available. Now, what you need to know is the girl across from us was only in this apartment for 6 months, and then she moved out at the end of the semester in December. Like, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, she was moving out. This was the beginning of January, and I was realizing we need to move across the hall into that 1-bedroom apartment. Our old apartment was literally across the hall that way, 6 feet. 6 feet. So I talked Ben into moving into this apartment. I was like, I will purge my stuff. I will purge my stuff so hard you have no idea. Guys, that was when I purged my makeup collection. I realized that by throwing away my stuff, we could save hundreds of dollars a month and be more prepared to live in a house. I threw away colored eyeshadow palettes, makeup palettes that I had thought I would keep forever, but that I just literally never used for months, years. And I have no regrets, you guys. I have no regrets. When we moved in this apartment, where the dining area is right now, that was completely full of stuff. Yeah, completely packed. I have pictures on my Instagram. It was messy. It was very messy. And now, we've been in this apartment for a year and 4 months. So during this process of moving from that apartment into this one, I finally got Ben on board, and he was gung-ho with it. Awesome. But then came the actual labor of moving. And I realized, oh my gosh, what have we gotten ourselves into? What have I gotten myself into? Can I really purge my stuff down so that we can live comfortably in this apartment? And the Holy Spirit said to me, Meg, moving into this apartment is going to be 10 times more fruitful than selling your car. Guys, the fruit is right there. The fruit is in the piano that I can set back up right over here because I finally have it clean enough and clear enough. I don't even know how. This is 865 square feet. This is the most organized 865 square feet I have ever lived in my entire life. Feels really, really good. And a huge part of it was decorative storage. Another huge part of it was banker boxes. This has been absolutely life-changing. And what you need to know about these is that they collapse. So that when you don't need them, you can unfold them and store them completely flat. And the same is true for the box itself. It's a little bit more of a funky origami process, but it's not that hard. This has changed my life. Ben had us buy a handful of these when we moved the first time from our old 2-bedroom apartment into the new 2-bedroom apartment. And they came in very handy again from the new 2-bedroom apartment to the new 1-bedroom apartment. It's right here now. So I kind of want to show you my art desk, but I kind of don't because it's not really ready. There's nearly nothing to see there. So I'm gonna take a break, eat some lunch, and then I want to show you my plants. So these right here are my plants. This silver pothos is so precious to me. I've taken cuttings and they're rooting. I have forgotten how loud it is out here with all the cars driving by, but I'm gonna vlog a little bit anyways, and I'll go inside. So, if you remember, this? I bought this super cute little pot, well, watering can, intending to use it as a watering can, but it's not good, so I've drilled a hole. This is a salsa jar from Aldi's. This is also from Aldi's. This is a salsa jar from Aldi's, and it fits perfectly inside, and I'm going to use this as a planter. So eventually those pothos cuttings will be inside of this probably, or something else that I love, but probably right here, because I want to have silver pothos all over my house at some point. And then this is a super exciting project because I love reusing candle glasses as planters. So I have bought these glass and tile drill bits, and the fourth one is currently in my drill, and I've started working on the bottom. So you'll see here I've already drilled a hole through, and then these two are almost done. I've spent so much time drilling this. It's a little embarrassing, actually. I would not recommend this for the faint of heart. And, very important, I do wear safety goggles when I am drilling because you don't want something to splatter into your eye. You know, it's very, very difficult. If something goes wrong with your eye, it's really difficult to fix. Your body doesn't have white blood cells up there. There's just a lot that could go wrong, so when you're doing stuff, it's important to wear protection. Time for me to drill up this plant. Very important to use water as a lubricant. I have even used ice cubes as a lubricant because, they've melted fairly quickly actually because it gets so hot with all the friction. You're basically causing a lot of the material to disintegrate into sand, so it gets really, really hot. Another thing you want to remember, especially when using these glass and tile drill bits, because just because of the nature of the material that you're working with, you don't want to press too hard, otherwise the glass can actually shatter. That's the real reason that I wear the protection. You see that right there? All that little white powder? That is the glass that is disintegrated. Literally into sand. Kind of amazing, isn't it? It sort of reminds me of that verse. Those on whom this rock falls will be crushed, but those on whom fall on that rock will be broken to pieces. It's better to be broken to pieces than to be crushed, because the actual original meaning of that word is to be pulverized. Completely unrepairable. Yeah. One of the other things that I do to help minimize the heat is rotate between the holes that I'm drilling, and I'm actually going to go to the ice cube to keep it nice and cool. Oh wow. You see already? When I just touch it, it goes into the ice cube because it's still already, the metal is already so hot. Backup battery for when I'm ready. and I've started to get a hole on this one. So I'm super excited about that. Oh yeah, fresh battery makes all the difference. You can kind of see it. Yeah, you can definitely see it now. There we go. That is beautiful right there. 1, 2 holes, and now time to make the third. You really don't need to make 3 holes. I'm just going overkill. Technically, using a diamond tip drill bit for this is way easier, but I just like the aesthetic look, and I also don't like my potting soil coming out through the big hole. Oh my gosh. This part feels like forever. Oh, I finally have the first beginning of the hole. Wonderful. Oh, here we are, here we are. There we go. Once that squeaking disappears, I know it's nice and good. Yeah, there we go. There we go. 3 beautiful holes. And I lost a little chip of glass with this one. Now I just have to see where did it fall. I don't need glass on my patio. I like to be out here barefoot. Oh yeah, these are super small. That's gonna be a pain in the butt. So do you know that old adage, if you break a mirror, it's 7 years bad luck? It's actually not about the mirror or being symbolic of anything. It's the practicality of broken glass and not having a vacuum. Okay, speaking of broken glass, I just found the most dangerous piece. So I think I'm going to be very, very careful about this particular spot until I feel like I know that I have all the glass shards. And I picked up 3, so hopefully that will be most of it. Also, I'm an adult. Kids, if you would like to do this, wait until you grow up. Or ask your parent really, really nicely. This is really tedious work, actually. Okay, so so now I have my potting container, and then this is my mother plant. Got a bunch of this little white stuff on top of the soil here. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah. So I'm gonna clean that off because that's just not really helpful for me. And now the moment of truth. Yay! Yeah. Pothos love to be root bound. So seeing this down here is good. It means that the plants have really settled in and they're ready. Whoopsies! They're ready to grow. This is Miracle-Gro potting soil in a trash bag. There we go. I'm going to mix this into my new container, along with the soil that my plant is used to, because that's the familiar microbiome, so that's very important. throw those out. It's no big deal. A hairpin from trying to get somebody to root. I feel like the plant arena right now. Repotting stuff on camera. Oh my gosh, what have I done? It feels so fragile. Where's my hairpin? Actually, I need a stick. And here's a stick. This is a trick I learned from Epic Gardener to make your plants more full. Just put cuttings into them when you repot them. Now, what is going on with this leaf? This leaf really doesn't have a lot to show for itself. Oh man, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, see, this is a strong plant. This is a strong plant, and these plants are really... Wow, I am just tearing everything apart. Oh my goodness. Look at how strong and beautiful that is. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my plants in, and then I'm going to add soil. Because this is the mother plant, I really want it to be full and lush from the get-go. I can always take more trimmings and cuttings and root them like so, but I want the mother plant to just be really, really full and gorgeous. So, oh man, this delicate, look at this delicate little root right there. If I touch it, it's just like, oh my gosh. I don't want to hurt that for sure. I'm hoping that by putting the plants in first and then adding the soil, the roots will be a lot happier because they'll already be going down to the bottom of the pot. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I just want to clarify that. Oh my gosh. Look at that gorgeous beauty. It is not every day you get to see a beautiful root structure. So I really treasure repotting for this reason. Cut off that little dead tip right there. Okay, this is a root that's dried up. You see that teeny tiny little string right there? So I'm just gonna pull that off. I love it when multiple root nodes make it into the soil because I feel like that makes it a stronger plant. But at the same time, like, it's just, you can only win some. I don't know about this one. I might, this large leaf is very, very dominant, and these two are just so small. I think I might pull this out and use it for something else. Look at this beauty, and it's got a leaf unfurling. I'll try and put this in through the top. Actually, I feel like if I take these leaves, if I take these 3 cuttings and I put them together, I think it'll look really nice. I'm gonna put this one back in its water bottle. And now I think this is what I want for my plant. Actually, I need a funnel. Hang on. Now granted, this does not have like the biggest hole in the world, but it will be better than nothing. So let me get this dirt in where it belongs. Okay. I feel like this is working. And this is how you know I love my houseplants. Go in at this angle. Yes. That looks nice. Stay in, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, you need hairpin treatment. That's what you need. I feel like my plant is going to be very disoriented, but it's starting to fill up. And the inside is looking really, really, really good. So now my plant is topped off with soil. I've put soil on top of the air roots, or there were roots that were close to the soil, but they weren't going in, and so I'm hoping that putting soil on top of them and keeping it really moist and like spraying it down, that sort of thing, will help it to really just settle in and go deeper. So super stoked for that. We add a little bit more dirt and get into the corners here. I'm gonna water this, but before I do, I want to show you where it was living. So this is kind of like a faux marble pot I got from Joann's. It was like super cheap because it was part of the Christmas collection. So yeah, I got it for a song. And then these are my decorative white rocks. These are my little instructions. These are my decorative white wax. So before I had this in here, so I've got a lot of rocks to compensate it for it. This is gonna go deeper, so if I put this in right now, it's gonna be really, really high. So I need to take some of these out. Let me try this. Oh, that's closer. Really like putting rocks in the bottom of my pot. One, because there's nothing to biodegrade. So it's just gonna like keep the plant lifted up. And 2, it makes the pot heavier, which makes it feel more weighty and secure. Look at that beauty. My poor disoriented beauty. I did put one cutting in here that has just been in water. So I'm going to water this up and let it soak. I'm gonna fill this whole thing with water actually and let it soak for a little bit, probably overnight actually. And out a big moment. And if I've done my job correctly, that's what we came for. I have watered it in thoroughly. It's got about this much water in the bottom of it, and these plants they feel very well grounded. Like, when I tug on them, there's the resistance that they are in the ground, in the water, nothing is coming out. Love that. So now, to turn my attention to these beauties. So this, as you can see, I've put them inside of this plastic vial. I really would love to get like glass and drill in glass, but that's gonna be a very delicate ordeal because I actually have a vase that is smaller than this and I'd love to get a vine in, but that is not happening today. So I put these plants in here so the roots would train to fit inside of this. So that was super, super important. And now I'm just kind of gonna shove the dirt on top, and I might need to get out my handy dandy stick. Sticks are like the first technology, I think. Now, I don't expect these plants to get super big because this space is so small, but I'm hoping that it still will be a really good fit. I am making an effort to put like barky pieces of soil in first, so that way at the bottom there's like less organic material to hold on to the moisture. Pothos really like to dry out in between waterings, which is one of the reasons it's such a good plant for me, because I do have mold allergies. When I was a receptionist for a year, I watered some peace lily plants, and that was a really huge step in me developing confidence as a gardener. Like, I just had the responsibility of like just douse them in water once a week. And in the course of that, I ended up trimming back the dead bits of the leaves, and over time, by the time I left, there was a calla lily that was blooming again. So that was really rewarding and beautiful. But while peace lilies are really hardy as far as low light conditions, they are not good in that they hold a lot of water, so they're kind of a breeding ground for mold and fungus if they're not taken care of properly. And in my case, I just don't want to risk it at all. So that's how I deal with that. I was actually really, really lucky that those plants did not have any mold on them, because I have watered plants during my ballet days when I was at Carlisle, and they were moldy, disgusting plants. Let me tell you something. Nasty. I really hope I'm not damaging any of the roots when I'm pushing in here, but we will just have to see. Okay. So, alrighty, this is almost done. Super excited about that. Getting the dirt put in is kind of a big deal. And also, there's a little bit of air pocket there, so I'm sure it's going to fill in eventually, and I may have to top it off with more dirt, but that is... I am totally fine with that. So I'm going to put this back in water, but before I do... Oh yes, very exciting. Before I do, let's get this set up to hold. Initially, this pot was like my pretty rock holding station. If you're going to use them for one of these projects, you kind of have to be committed to not seeing the rocks for a while. So, alright, let's see. No, still need some more. of my friends gave me a bunch of just these decorative rocks with a candle inside like a glass jar when she moved, and I've been making good use of them ever since. Alright, let's see. Oh yes. That is exactly what we want. I literally had just enough rocks. So, while I would love to keep this in here right now, all of the roots are used to a super high water environment, so I'm actually going to put them right back into the water and then slowly phase the water out so that the roots can harden off and get used to the normal, drier environment. So, these are going to go back on the counter, and they'll be in their home soon. Yay! Now, there is still the debate about what I should do with these. Actually. This is going to be too big for them initially because there's going to be all this moisture and soil at the bottom that they're not going to use up, and then there is root rot. But if I put them in here, and then it goes in here, and this has already got holes for drainage, so I think I'm going to do that. When you're trying to do too many things. Trying to film and plan at the same time is a little bit tricky. I like to moisten the soil so that the water starts to get to find its way in. It doesn't float. So there we go. Look at that. On the inside. Yes. That's what we want. To get this acclimated to life in the soil. And this leaf is already used to life in the soil. It's these two babies that are adjusting. Look at that beauty. So I think that is it for my project here on the porch today. Let me show you a little bit of what is on my porch. So this is my super big watering can that I love. This is the head for my watering can that I can't use right now because my patio is too small. These are the herbs I grew from seed. So this is parsley, and then that's basil. Trying to get them acclimated being outside, but slowly but surely. It's a bit of an experience with those. This plant right here, oh my gosh. This is arborvitae. Emerald green or arborvitae. I kind of love it. And I'm always rotating it so that it will get better light. And it'll stay well rounded as long as it lives on my porch. And it can grow in a pot like up to 4 feet, and that's when this plant itself was $8. A 4-foot plant is normally like $50. So I'm hoping if I can keep it in the pot for a couple years, I'll get the same effect of having a big, huge decorative plant on my porch. And then eventually, wherever we move, I might just put it in the ground someday. So this is a little bit of my sansevieria. This is my lavender bush that I love. Those three sprigs are rosemary. Love them. Hoping to make a rosemary hedge at church at some point. And then the little plant over here is woolly thyme. It's a ground cover, and it actually blooms a little bit. And that plant over there is lily of the valley. Let me show you this. So this sprig of green represents so much patience and waiting. This is my favorite childhood flower. And as you see, we've got a little bud there, another one there, another one here. I'm so excited for this to come up and bloom. It's absolutely beautiful. The smell is just, oh, perfection. And then this is a big planting zone that I really have yet to use at all. I did put some single lily of the valley in here, but this is the chunk, and this one came out much stronger, much healthier. I will be surprised if this one blooms, but you know, I'll vlog about it if I do. And of course, my rosemary. And there we are. The plants are complete. Complete for now. Now the thing about plants is that they're never really done. You're always in the process of growing them into what they're going to be. And so there's this constant feeling of incompletion. But that's just how gardening is, and I've come to accept it, and I've come to appreciate the middle phases. Phase 26 out of 375. Something like that. Now to show you something completely different. Oh my gosh. This is my new filing cabinet. It comes pre-built. Oh my gosh. Also, I've just realized I'm gonna have little tiny packing flecks sticking to me, and I'm not sure I'm super excited about that, but here we go. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. Okay, let me get this unpacked properly. Oh my gosh, it's finally here. I mean, you can tell this is chrome paint. We'll see how well that lasts. These are the little casters, so I can roll them around. Do not climb or sit on top of cabinet. And then this is how to put the casters on. Yes. The drawers will feel like really stiff. Like, it's not the highest quality construction, but it's definitely not cheap. I cannot wait to get my art supplies in this. This is so exciting. It turned out so good. Oh my goodness. So, here's what I put inside of the cabinet. So at the top, I've got my brushes and my paints, my tape, even more tape behind it. There's nothing behind here because there's only that much room, so even more tape. Second drawer, we've got palettes. This is my very first palette that's everything started from. Obviously, I've taken colors out and putting in professional colors and that sort of thing. This is a little glass doohickey I got from Bed Bath, and I use it to trace circles and also cover my teacup, but not at the same time. And then this is kind of my little tools. This is my hair dryer for when I dry my paint. Masking fluid, can't live without. That's all the White Letter Wisdom stuff. And then here I've got printer paper, even more tools, my compass for when I want larger circles, hole punches, cute little things, my ink. I might put this in the next drawer up. This is all subject to change, and then this is the thicker paper. It is really good for tracing because it doesn't wrinkle. My cat print paper samples that I love, and my paper slicer. So then up here on the table, we've got my idea file. This is still dedicated to Psalm 23 because I have another layer of fixing to do before I get to the 9x12 coloring books. I finished the coloring pages next to coloring books. This is what I call the archive because it has all sorts of art that is finished and I need to scan, and I can just slip it in this little folder, and that's really great. This has cotton balls. This is a lipstick applicators. I really love using this with masking fluid. It is awesome. And artwork I'm going to put on the wall, but just not right now because I can't think that far. So that is what is in here. Oh, and then this little prompt. State of flow involves risk, novelty, complexity, unpredictability, and pattern recognition. I saw that and it seemed inspiring. We'll see how long it stays there. And then if we zoom out over here, we have, this is where the magic is going to happen. So, can't work without light. That is functional. Really important to have it opposites of your dominant hand so you get light going in and your hand is not creating the shadow as opposed to if I was using the other hand. And then here I've got my watercolor paper. Here I've got my color mixing chart. I never reference this, but it was really, really informative and I kind of love it. So I might get back to doing that with my professional paints. I just haven't gotten that far yet. And then this is my big paper. This is the cutting board that I use to paint on top of sometimes because it's easier to clean this smooth surface than the table. And then when I'm drying my brushes, it's really important to dry your brushes horizontal because otherwise the water will go inside the brush and loosen the hairs. So you want to dry your brushes horizontal. So this is a soap dish for that. And then this is my palette that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond. It is actually, it's an appetizer dish. And then this is a cosmetic display thing that I got from TJ Maxx. So obviously, like, those are lipstick holders, these are brush holders. This is where I put my permanent marking things, so my ink, my pens, and then this is where I'll put all the pencils for temporary stuff. And then like my super baby brushes, that sort of thing, so they don't get lost. And then rags, cotton balls, Q-tips, the usual. Yeah, the lighting on that's bad, but so it's just neat to see this in front of me and remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this is the art desk. Oh, and the aglaonema cutlass with this gorgeous plant. And my friend's card from church. She took this picture. I love them. Love those pansies. So this is my updated art desk. Literally years have gone into this being the way that it is. This cabinet was a huge investment. $120, but I think it was totally worth it. Everything is so much more easily accessible, and I'm really excited to see what paintings come out of here. So, yeah, please be praying with me for that. My name is Meg. I love my Jesus, and I believe in living inside out. Now it's your turn. Go live it. Hello. So I recorded all of that on April 25th, and it is currently June 4th, and I wanted to give you an update on how the plants are doing. So first of all, this cute little plant has really started to come into its own. It has 2 vines in here, if you remember, and the little one is started to like loop around, so it comes up here, and then this big leaf here has 3 leaves coming up the front. Isn't that amazing? So I'm super excited to see what this turns into. One thing I have noticed is that because it is a very small container, I really need to keep it watered regularly. So super excited for how this turned out, and I really don't think I'll go smaller than this. I don't think a glass test tube smaller than this would be a good idea, and also be really difficult to drill into. I'm not gonna play with that, I don't think. And then these were the 3 cuttings that I put into this little plastic cup here, and they have started. I've got 1 root there on the bottom, so they've started settling in. I'm not sure what I'll do with this long term, but I really like how they're growing and developing, and super excited about this. And now, grand reveal, the mother plant. How gorgeous is that? So again, really, really lush, filling out. In a few days, it didn't even know that it had been moved. It just, in a very short amount of time, like there was a bare spot here, and it just, it all moved and settled in, and yeah, it's looking very, very happy. So I'm gonna try and get it to be trailing and long. That's another reason why I like having a lot of, like, these are little glass beads. It's why I like having heavy pots, so that when they trail, they're very well anchored and the leaves can do whatever they want. So, as an example, back here, this is the other pot. And I drilled a larger hole into that one, and this is a Chinese ice plant, if I remember correctly. And then this is a kitchen utensil holder I got at Big Lots for $10. And then this is the Yankee Candle glass again. There we are. Lush and gorgeous. I would probably recommend using the diamond tripped drill bit to make a slightly larger hole. Those are easier to work with because it drills a circle instead of drilling out through the entire thing. But I'm really, really pleased, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to have pothos all over my house. My name is Meg. I love my Jesus, and I believe in living inside out. Now it's your turn. Go live it.